Welcome to May, and as has been the norm recently, I'm reviewing a Patreon request. Chris wanted me to watch the animated film The Seventh Dwarf, and to get a sense of how I felt about this film, I want to talk briefly about dubbing, primarily dubbing for animated features and how that can affect one's opinion of a film. Now, there are examples of really good dubs out there. Disney did an exceptional job with the Studio Ghibli titles they distributed over the years. But then you also have dubs where the lip sync is off and the new dialogue does not feel natural, like Arthur and the Invisibles. Then you have the unusual case of Dougal, which took English language dialogue and dubbed it over with brand new dialogue, filled with annoying pop culture references. I bring all this up because watching The Seventh Dwarf, I cannot help but wonder what the original German soundtrack sounded like, and feeling it would be better. The lip sync does not quite match, and the voice acting leaves a lot to be desired. Unfortunately, Netflix only had the English dub. The story itself is fairly basic and not all that interesting. A lot of the focus is on this dwarf trying to prove himself, and he's an okay lead. The main problem is the stakes never felt that high, and the tone is all over the place, going from a light comic adventure to a suicidal dragon. Yep, that's an actual character in the film. The main villain, a Snow Queen, mostly got on my nerves, and I never found her to be a legitimate threat, especially with the multiple times she's easily defeated. The romance that drives the plot is dull, and the songs are utterly forgettable, entering one ear and out the other. Thankfully, the script is very light on pop culture references. Except for one, I have a bone to pick with. When was the last time the bullet time matrix gag was funny? 1999? If there ever was a parody that has been run into the ground, it's that one. When it showed up in The Seventh Dwarf, I just sighed, especially since it was so utterly pointless and uncalled for. The next time a gag writer or a storyboard artist suggests a bullet time parody, tell him to just go sit in the corner for 5 minutes and think about what he just said. However, I should mention I felt a sad reminder watching The Seventh Dwarf. This film is co-directed by Harald Siepermann, a longtime character designer who unfortunately passed away 3 years ago, making this the final film he ever worked on. Most of his career was spent as a character designer for Disney, where he provided designs for the likes of Tarzan, Brother Bear, Treasure Planet, Enchanted, among other films. He even worked on designs for a Snow Queen adaptation at Disney long before the project morphed into Frozen. But for me, the production I'll always associate Siepermann with is Alfred J. Quack. Siepermann was tasked with designing the characters and adapting what was originally a stage show into an animated series. Siepermann's designs were instantly endearing, and he brought so much life to the characters on this show. When I found out that Harald Siepermann had died, I was actually very upset about it. Alfred Quack was one of the first cartoons I ever watched, and a lot of my love for world-building stories probably began in my early years watching that series. It was a hugely important part of my early childhood, and he was so pivotal in making Alfred Quack so special. And even though The Seventh Dwarf is not the best example of his talents, there were a couple moments that felt straight out of Siepermann's pen, and for all the film's problems, the character designs were certainly not one of them. Harald Siepermann was one of the best character designers in the animation industry, and whether you know his work from Alfred Quack or his contributions to Disney, it's hard to deny his brilliant talent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.